Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, December 15th, 2016. I'm Keith Tebow. This week we talk about a new position created at Fall River's Government Center. Metal detectors, or really the lack thereof, at BMC Durfee High School, and Mayor Correa's plea to residents to do their holiday shopping locally. But first, let's go over the headline news of the week, and we bring in Will Richmond, the digital news editor at the Fall River Herald News. Hey, Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How you doing?
Good, boy. We talked about some of the topics we do want to bring up today, but I think first and foremost, right now, as we're recording this, we're under a weather situation here locally, bitterly cold today on Thursday and then on Friday. How do you guys normally cover a weather event like this? That's not necessarily snow, although we have some snow coming this weekend. Do you guys check in with some of the local heating centers and warming centers and shelters to see how they're handling this situation?
Yeah, certainly, especially because this is the first real cold weather event of the year. We reached out to First Step In to make sure that they're ready to operate, as well as checking in with plumbers and those associated cold industry related businesses to see if they have any tips they may offer for homeowners and that kind of thing. So I know, as I was reading the story yesterday or editing it that we had in today's paper about cold weather, it served as a handy reminder to go and make sure that my own water was turned off to my outside faucets last night. So certainly, our main goal, especially with a first one like this, is to make sure to kind of get the word out, remind people of what to do, how to prepare for this, and what sort of resources are out there for those people in need.
Yeah, it's amazing, even though we've been through so many winters here in this neck of the woods and this section of the country, it's always that first event that always just takes people by surprise many times. But it's good that we refresh people's knowledge of what they need to do when the weather gets cold and snowy. But I wanted to touch upon that because that is probably the biggest issue people are facing over the next couple of days. All right, let's go to some of the other topics of note. Let's start with the King Philip Mill. The city issued an RFP earlier this fall to sell that property, to get it redeveloped. And I understand the bids for that property were due to be opened, was it yesterday or today? Tell us about what happened.
Right, bids were, the bid deadline was this morning at 11 o'clock, I believe it was. From my understanding from our reporters that were on the scene there, no one submitted any bids for the King Philip Mill this time around. So there are no current buyers that are expressing interest. It may be in part due to the uncertainty about the historic tax credit situation with the mill.
Right.
As we learned previously, that the potential demolition of parts of the mill could result in the state stripping away the historic aspect of the mill, which would then take away any potential credits that redevelopers could use there. So with that situation still unclear, it looks like people or potential investors in that property are kind of staying hands off for the moment.
And there's also some continuing questions. Any old mill property, there's always questions about environmental issues that may come up in a building like that. And the city was actually looking at for a minimum bid of $750,000. So any word on whether at this early time, whether the city will rethink what they want to do with this and put it back up to bid at a future date?
Well, I think at this point they're still waiting to kind of resolve that historic status issue.
Right.
If that's going to be an issue in terms of getting bidders, I can't imagine they're going to proceed with another bid request until that is known. Though bids or the RFP has gone out for potential demolition, with those bids due back in January.
All right, so we'll continue to follow that story. One story that was actually originated in your sister paper, the Standard Times in New Bedford, having the story that was posted yesterday about the UMass Dartmouth campus and the flying of the Black Lives Matter flag, which was instituted for a 5-day period earlier this week, raising the ire of some in our region. Talk about how UMass Dartmouth decided to raise that flag for this 5-day period up until tomorrow, and what some of the backlash has been.
Yeah, so it appears that this was it went through a process at the university. It was proposed by a student level group and sort of made its way through the approval ranks through different sort of vetting committees until it reached the desk of interim chancellor Randy Helm, who gave it his okay to go forward. Like you said, it's been up at UMass Dartmouth it will be up for a 5-day period through tomorrow, at which point it's then coming down, which coincides with the university also going on to its winter break. So there is, there will be that moment of it moving on. It doesn't appear it will remain there when students return in January. But yeah, it appears it also kind of angered some people, especially in the realms of social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone who has sort of even followed the Black Lives Matter movement, even on the side, has seen that there's backlash. Those who believe, in the Blue Lives Matter aspect, the All Lives Matter sort of mantra. So, it's a statement that carries its own controversies, almost regardless of where you are.
Yeah, definitely a polarizing topic, especially in the last couple of years, where there have been police officers accused and even convicted in some instances of needlessly killing minority people in their neighborhoods. And this has always been a bone of contention. Again, as I said, a polarizing topic amongst liberals and conservatives, the left and the right, as we've heard now for quite some time. And that's why the paper decided to write an article about it, and it was brought up today. So we'll see again. As the article mentioned, the flag will be coming down tomorrow, and we'll see how the university handles similar requests going forward. All right, Will, we're getting to the holiday season, 10 days until Christmas. So what's coming up at the paper over the next few days?
Sure. Well, this weekend we're taking a deep dive look into the housing study report that was commissioned by State Rep Carol Fiola and done by the Public Policy Center at UMass Dartmouth. So, we got to take a look into the numbers, some reactions from the organizations and people that were addressed in that report, and some of the next steps that will move forward as this report kind of is used to review the housing situation here in Fall River.
All right, Will, sounds good. We'll talk again next week. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot job list from the Fall River Career Center. Occupational therapist. Rehab Care, located at 495 New Boston Road, is seeking a full-time occupational therapist for a skilled nursing facility in Fall River. A valid and current occupational therapy license is required. Job number 826-0189. Cook. Sonia's Cakes and Sweets, located at 927 Stafford Road in Fall River, is in need of a part-time experienced cook to assist in the coffee shop and bakery. Must be dependable, hardworking, and speak Portuguese. Job number 824-7151. Social worker. American Renal Associates of Fall River is actively seeking a part-time social worker to work for the Dialysis Center of Attleboro. Must have experience in a healthcare setting, casework management, and psychosocial skills are required. Job number 825-5373. Genesis Healthcare is looking to fulfill the following positions. Dietary aide. Job number 825-6738. Line cook. Job number 825-6740. Licensed practical nurse. Job number 824-7921. Certified nursing assistant. Job number 824-7922. For more information on these or other positions, visit frcmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Mayor Correa has increased the responsibilities of a Fall River Career Center employee in order to keep a campaign promise to help local businesses thrive. As part of that vow, Mayor Correa has appointed Kim Frank as the city's business services liaison. While Frank will continue to work for the Career Center, her new post means she's also wearing another hat.
Now I'm working with also the City of Fall River, Economic Development, and the Chamber of Commerce, where let's say a new business wants to come into Fall River, not sure where to start. Their first point of contact would be with me. So I would sit down with them and assess their needs and basically walk them through what they need to do with the different departments in the government center and how to go about working with the Career Center as well. So once the business has met with the zoning board maybe, or with the licensing department, Chamber of Commerce for location, or economic development, therefore, once they're established, we would partner them up with the Career Center to help them find the proper job seekers for their positions.
We asked Frank how many businesses have been helped since she took over the position at the beginning of November.
Probably maybe a handful of new businesses. And these might be businesses that have been located elsewhere that are just trying to maybe expand. So maybe in the Taunton area, maybe in, the surrounding Fall River area. So they're not necessarily right all in the Fall River city, but they're surrounding areas. Our goal is to bring more companies into Fall River and help them.
The Board of Trustees at Bristol Community College is meeting today to recommend their choice to be the institution's next president. The results of the meeting were not available at the time of this taping. Please head over to our website, FRCmedianews.org, for further details on today's vote. The trustees' recommendation still needs approval from the Massachusetts Board of Higher Education, which is expected to take up the matter next month. Current President Dr. John Sprague is set to retire next summer. This fall, BMC Durfee High School was evacuated due to an alleged gun threat that circulated via social media. The next day, metal detectors and wands were used as added security measures, which meant a long line at the entrance when school started. The metal detectors, funded through a grant submitted by the police department several years ago, have since been removed. But the city's Director of Buildings and Grounds, Ken Pacheco, says they haven't been forgotten.
Well, they're portables, so there were no physical connections to the building, so they can be put up 10 minutes. They're just put aside. They will be used again, I guarantee that. Somewhere along the line, we will institute, a random check, and that'll go on now, probably periodically, and I think it'll go on in the new building. I think it's good practice, and I think it keeps everyone feeling a sense of security, that people are vigilant.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
So this is Gibbs. He's a playful 1.5-year-old, and he's a Fila. That's the breed. That's the name. That's the breed that he is. So as you can see, he's very energetic. He's also a little bit fearful sometimes. Here, get. Oh. He wouldn't do really well kitchen cat, so we would want him to go to a home where he would be just by himself to get all the 100% attention and love that he needs. And you can see he's very energetic. So he needs a home where somebody's going to be willing to take the time to run him, work with him, play with him. Oh, and he is here at Forever Paws at 300 Linwood in Fall River. And he's really willing to do anything for anybody who will give him a good home. So this is Smokey. He is a 5-year-old neutered male, and he is a short-haired domestic tabby. Smokey is a really incredible cat. He loves attention. He is one of the best cats. Yes, see, look at this. He speaks for himself. He doesn't need any help. Just like a dog, rub his belly. Oh yeah, rub his belly. Yeah, look at you. So this is Smokey, and he's ready here at Forever Paws, and he is deserving of a wonderful home. Aren't you? Yeah, look at this. Just like my baby. Here he is.
A new 20-year intermunicipal agreement for wastewater treatment services between the city of Fall River and nearby Freetown has been approved by officials in both locations. The contract ensures Freetown residents who are hooked into the city's water and sewer system, mainly those who reside on North Main Street in Freetown, continue to be offered those services. Fall River Administrator of Community Utilities Terry Sullivan says the intermunicipal contract is renewed regularly.
We've had agreements since the 70s, which have been renegotiated and renewed multiple times. So in the past year, the current agreements expired, and we've negotiated new agreements. Essentially, it outlines the cost and the services we provide to Freetown to sell them water and sewer at their customers that have been connected to us, and it allows for expansion of their system for future customers to come on.
Even though the forecast for the next few days will feature cold and stormy weather, Fall River Mayor Jason Correa is urging residents to do their holiday shopping locally. We asked the mayor about the availability of parking if residents decide to spend their money in downtown stores.
Well, if you're shopping on weekends, you shouldn't have an issue because there's no fee, of course, on the weekends. We do have 2 garages. I think people forget that we do have 2 garages. One is on Pearl Street, and the other is right here behind City Hall and behind the courthouse. So those will be available to you. And then there's different parts of the city too that you want to shop in as well. East Main Street, Pleasant Street. There's a lot of different parts of the city that you're going to want to stop in and grab some different things and grab some holiday treats too.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can catch FRC Media News Thursday and Friday at 6 p.m. and online 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.